ready for the last match of the night. Heavyweights. Freshman Tony Nelson going up against junior Blake Razing. The Gophers versus the Hawkeyes. A border war for the championship. Here's their path to the finals. Nelson coming up from the 4th seed. Razing coming from the 3rd seed. 1 and 2. They're out of the mix. Let's hear from our finalists.
Tony, you're wrestling well. You took out the #1 seed. You're a redshirt freshman, so got a lot of youth on your side. What are your feelings going into the national tournament?
Well, you know, especially just coming into this tournament, I was, you know, really excited where I was because I wrestled well against Wade earlier, and you know, this time, you know, I worked hard on what he did and beat me on last time. So I was ready coming in this tournament, and then advancing to the national tournament. I guess it just really excites me, especially making it to the finals of the Big Ten and knows I can really compete because the Big Ten Conference is one of the best.
Blake, you're having a great year. Last year you had some time in, but you weren't the starter at the end. Now had a full year in the lineup. You're in the Big Ten finals. What are your thoughts?
You know, I started off the season maybe not getting exactly what I wanted. I went 1 and 2 at Midlands, and definitely started off the year slow, but I'm feeling a lot of confidence and feeling good. You know, really taking every match one at a time and being just kind of taking the pressure off, and you know, just worrying about one match every day. So.
Here's your team standings. A 3-point lead for Penn State. Iowa trailing by 3. If Razing wins, he gets 4. But don't forget about Cameron Wade. He's going up against Ben Applin from Michigan, who he pinned the last time they met in the dual meet, and he's defeated him twice this year. Cameron Wade, Penn State trying to match whatever Razing does. 2 winning efforts with regular decisions. There's Blake Razing. It'll be a tie. If one of them trumps the other with a major decision or an extra point, that'll be the winning extra point for the team. Blake Razing, Tony Nelson, the heavyweight match, the Big Ten championships.
And it's a rematch of the finals of a dual meet here just a little while ago, 2 weeks ago up in Minneapolis, where Razing was able to go ahead and win. Close match. Kind of picked it open late in the match with a pretty good leg shot. So Razing, deceptive as far as how strong he is. He's got a really strong core. His legs are huge, pretty tough in the top position. And of course, everybody's been impressed with Tony Nelson in this tournament. Just his stature as a freshman. You mentioned too, Lee, that it wouldn't be difficult to put another 20 pounds on that frame. Solid muscle. He's solid right now for a redshirt freshman.
Absolutely.
But continues in that tradition of great Minnesota heavyweights.
You know, they have had some great heavyweights. You know, Brock Lesnar being probably the most famous coming out of that program. But
Cole Conrad, the 2-time champion.
Garrett Lowney.
Yeah.
Benjamin Shelton. They've had some good ones.
And the thing about this is that, said this before, but he's done a nice job of making the team, beating out Ben Berhow, who was a starter, who's really got, as a senior, got a great gas tank, would go out there and battle and give everything he had. Would easily could be a guy who would be in this situation here in the finals as well. So great competition in the room has brought Tony Nelson to this point.
having a tough room is almost a prerequisite to, you know, being in a contention for a team title like Iowa and like Penn State. Both of those schools have good, tough rooms.
Yeah, and what I liked when I heard from the interview is that doing that Penn State-Iowa meet, that Nelson had some things to work on. He had been beat by Cameron Wade, who was the #1 seed, and also been beat by Razing. So you can tell that when you take this young man back in the wrestling room, he's going to work on what the new techniques you're trying to employ, because it showed up here in this tournament. He was looking like he was going to have a little fade as a freshman, and came back and got to the finals. Tim, Cameron Wade has back points and a takedown over there, so he's jumped out to at least a 5-0 lead.
30 seconds left in that first period down there as we keep you up to date. On the mat next to it, there's Cameron Wade. There's the Penn State Big Ten Wrestling, brought to you by the Big Ten Network, and we give you the action where it's at when it means something. And right now, it's never meant more. Penn State out in front now, 5-0 there. Cameron Wade over Ben Applin from Michigan as the time ticks down the first period. He wins by a major decision. Raising wins by a regular decision. Penn State will win by the narrowest of margins, their first ever Big Ten championship.
I can remember one year, Jim, you may remember the year that Iowa won the team title by like a half a team point, was it, or something like that?
The national title?
Yeah, the national
That was
title.
1978. They won by a quarter point. That started the 9-year string that Coach Gable had. It was in 1978. Your what year was that for you?
78, my senior year.
Your senior year.
Quarter point. Look at the closest of margins when
That's
you look
when
at that.
Coach Nichols threw the towel in for Frank Santana, right?
And you wrestled my college roommate, Kelly Ward.
He was your roommate.
Yeah.
Oh, Kelly and I,
bet.
boy, I can.
Yeah. You had a 9-8 match.
Yeah, it was 1 point. It was actually 10-8. I got to get that extra point in there.
I'll let him know. He's watching. Yeah.
I was ahead actually 8-1 going into the last period. He stormed back.
Escape for Raising. Escape for Raising. He goes out in front 1-0. Raising from Iowa needs to win.
You know, the thing I like about what I've seen with Raising is that these he'll go in on that leg. I mean, it doesn't look like he shoots very much, but he does switch it up a little bit. He'll go to one side and the next, and he's pretty deceptive, but he's pretty tough in the top position. For him to get out in 20 seconds, that's a big advantage because he is tough in the top position.
Approaching 1 minute left in the second period. The score, Cameron Wade on the other mat against Ben Applin, 6-0, and Wade has riding time.
1 minute.
He's close.
1 minute.
There's less than a minute left in the second period. He's on his way to a major decision. Here's the heavyweight ranking. Zach Ray, been there all year for Lehigh. Gerard Trice from Central Michigan having a great year. The Intermat rankings, and we thank you for the sponsorship and partnership of Intermat with the Big Ten Network. 40 seconds left in the second period. Blake Raising from New Hampton, Iowa, out in front of Tony Nelson, redshirt freshman.
And Raising kind of exemplifies the type of guys that Iowa's been doing it with this year. Guys who've been in the room for a while, maybe didn't have the years that they wanted or got beat off the team last year, but came back this year, stayed with the program, stayed disciplined, and stayed true to their goals. And now he's wrestling for a Big Ten championship and has a great chance of becoming an All-American.
A lot of the Iowa wrestlers, though, you know, when you make the team, you have a strong chance of being on a national championship team.
Yeah, 15 seconds, short time, an advantage for Raising.
Fight in.
Nelson, what a nice freshman year. He didn't have the spot when we started. Burhow, very accomplished heavyweight.
You got about 3 seconds.
Relinquishing the spot. He's a very fine heavyweight himself. Ben Burhow. Tony Nelson gaining the spot. He's from Cambridge, Minnesota. Cambridge Asante High School. Into the second period, we begin the third and final period, the heavyweight match. Tom Brands, what a coaching job he's done.
This is a pivotal part in the match right now. Okay, Raising is actually, Nelson from Minnesota has had a difficult time getting out from the bottom position, and Minnesota staff is one of the best at working with their big guys into getting back pressure and coming back away. So let's see if he executes it. Right now he looks a little slow on it.
8-0.
Wow.
Yeah. Heavyweight stand-up.
There Cameron Wade out in front, 8-0. If it remains this way, and it remains this way, it will be Penn State winning by a half a point.
Somebody's got to open up a little bit here, you know.
And of course, Raising would have to win for Iowa to come that close. He wins, he gets 4 points. If Cameron Wade wins by a major decision, he'll get a point and a half. Penn State leads by 3 right now. You do the math.
Well, so far, Nelson's been able to hold position. Nelson likes to attack to his left. He likes to hit that lead leg shot. So far, these guys are just settling for deep collar ties on each other, going ear to ear. The difficult thing about that is that you can feel what your opponent's going to do. It's really tough to break free and get to a corner. There's a nice shot.
There's a shot you were talking about.
Yeah.
Jim, there was a shot. And he's keeping great motion. Whoa.
Oh.
Looks like he got hurt.
Timeout. The official, Joe Tauber, just a little.
Something happened there.
Yeah, there's a problem with his right knee right there.
And
Now, if he forfeits,
That's 6 points for Iowa, and that would make it a different.
Let's take a look at the shot and see if we're looking at the knee. It's the knee that was hurt, was the leg that has been attacked right now. Let's see if there's anything. Oh, when he popped right there. When he tried to do a little crackdown right there, a little motion. That's what
it hyperextended a little bit there.
And we didn't even bring that scenario into play. Hopefully it will not come into play.
Watch the crackback motion here, guys. Right here. Cracks back, goes right there.
The leg straightened a little bit too much. Hyperextended. It didn't look like it actually went out or anything from here. But
we're at about 45.
But you can tell by his facial expressions that
it's your time.
Caught on that. There's a medical injury default situation. If you have that, that's an extra 2 team points.
All right.
And a major decision would be an extra point. And so, and Cameron Wade does get that extra point. He gets 2 instead of 1. So right now, Penn State is out in front by 5. Penn State is out in front by 5 because Cameron Wade has won. He got the major decision. That's an extra point. I mentioned a half. That comes into play with the tech fall. But it's an extra point. So right now.
Well, really, if you're astute as what the team score is,
you got to go for it.
You want Raising to go ahead and go for, he's in no man's land. Do I go ahead and work for the title, which he's never achieved before? Or do I go for the big move for the team?
We are real time. There's your score. Penn State 139, Iowa 134. If it remains right like this, it'll be 139 to 138. Penn State will win their first ever Big Ten title since joining the conference in 1991. Blake Raising looking like he's in good position to win his first Big Ten title. And he will win an individual title. And Penn State will win the championship with 138 points. As far as there's Penn State, they are excited, and rightly so. Let's go to Jim.
Thanks, Tim. Here I'm with Blake Raising, and Blake, I tell you what, you did a wonderful job sticking with it, sticking with your goals, and now you're a Big Ten champion.
Yep. I mean, we're a goal season for something like this, but got one more stage to go. So.
Right. Well, congratulations on your title. It was a tough match, hard-fought match. You did a great job on that shot.
Yeah, I mean, felt it, got in there, been in there before, 3-4 times against him. Felt it, and, so.
Well, I know all the people back in Algona are awful proud of you.
New Hampton.
Yeah. Take care.
Yep.
Blake Raising, your heavyweight champion for the Iowa Hawkeyes. They had bookend champions. Mac McDonough wins at 125. Blake Raising wins at heavyweight. We'll be back to wrap up this close team title for Penn State over Iowa right after this.